Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to update you on how things are tracking along here on Bitcoin. If you caught yesterday's video where I discussed the 6 altcoins that I've scaled into trades, you would have seen that we ended up drawing this analysis. However, in the short term, we do expect the altcoin market to outperform against Bitcoin. And in the last 24 hours, we now have early indicators, coins that are starting to show signs of life and potentially give us a little glimpse into what's to come. So, quick little update video for you guys today. Let's jump into it. Firstly, I just want to start here on Bitcoin and have a look at how all of this has played out. When we ended up seeing these lows come in on Friday last week, before then price pumped up on the back of good news. We had the flush and then we seen one more flush and that ended up giving us our bottom here on Bitcoin. If you've been paying attention to the channel, you can see that this is very clear just by the titles. 7 days ago when we called for the crash, Bitcoin ended up crashing. Then next video titled after that is the market flushing coming, which is one last flush before Altseason. And then the video after that was talking about the bottom being in, and now we've scaled into a lot of trades here, especially in the altcoin market. And these videos were at each of these moments when we discussed the market crash a week ago, when we discussed that one more flush, and down here when we said the bottom was in. So we've seen everything play out how we've wanted to. And in the short term here, what we've seen play out is actually what we drew up in the short term, which was simply the way Bitcoin ended up finding a bottom down here, where we ended up moving up higher into resistance, ABC correcting, grinding our way back to the same heights up here. As you can see, one more pullback to the 50% range, and then Bitcoin after that point broke out to the upside, and that's when it ended up going on to set the most previous all-time high at 124,000. And if we have a look at Bitcoin's price chart today, it is quite simply the same thing we ended up charting out, and it has played out scarily perfect. We have seen the move up into the resistance, the ABC, price moving up again, back to the 50% of the range, and now we are seeing Bitcoin move out like discussed in yesterday's video when we scaled in to all of the trades. Now, as far as the trades for the altcoins that we ended up scaling into, I will just show you a glimpse of most of them. This is the Ethereum trade that we were in, playing out okay. Nothing too crash hot. Still looking to enter more if we get a new low set on ETH, but most likely won't see that, and we will see price move up, especially if Bitcoin ends up breaking out above $112,000 here. So Ethereum trade, pretty happy with how it's going, nothing too crash hot. The XRP trade started off really well. It was one of the fastest to move out off the lows here. We're pretty happy with how price is tracking along. So we're going to keep an eye on XRP to see how this ends up playing out. Solana is actually the altcoin that's doing the best. No surprises. Last week I did discuss how it's most likely Sol will continue to perform the best, as it has shown pretty strong sign of strength here compared to the rest of the market. And so far since we entered our trade, it is our top performing coin. If we flick through to the rest, you can see that ADA isn't doing so well. It's only just above our entry level, and that structurally it isn't holding up as well as something like XRP or even Solana. Our Dogecoin trade is doing a little bit better from entry, and the HBAR trade was doing alright, but it has pulled back quite significantly and is only just a little bit above entry. So nothing to get excited about yet for these trades. I am still looking to actually get a few more entries, and just a little heads up for you guys, I am looking to try and get a CRV entry and potentially a SUI entry in the next couple of days. Ideally, I want to be in all of my positions and scaled into the other positions that I have, like Ethereum, for example, which I only have small size in, by early September, as I do think September is going to be an absolutely insane month. And one of the early signs that we're seeing is actually this coin back here from 2021, which is Kronos. And how we ended up seeing Kronos play out back in 2021 was there was a high that was in here before Kronos went into this bear market consolidation, where you see it has that initial surge from the lows in the bear market, marking its high, which is about 370% price increase. Then it goes into this accumulation structure, breaks to the upside, and then out of nowhere it just picks up and goes absolutely parabolic, and in the course of 24 days it shoots up about 340%. Now, what's most interesting about this chart isn't the way it played out in 2021, it's actually what's playing out right now. And as you can see, we've been in a prolonged bear market. We ended up having the first peak, and then the second peak. You can see price here from the lows shot up about 220%. And then, just like it did back here, after shooting up from the lows about 300%, went into this small little accumulation phase before then ramping up, and then bang, it just took off. In 24 days, that was it. And if we have a look at how things are playing today, you can see we've had that 200%-ish move. It's gone back down into that accumulation range, and in a matter of 48 hours, we already see a price increase of 150% after it had been creeping up for the last 3 months, just like it did back in 2021 before it then eventually exploded to the upside. And now we have seen that play out on this chart in today's market environment. And considering that all of this is happening and we've seen this crazy spike in price while Bitcoin is doing nothing here, is a very early indicator to me at least that we are starting to see a lot of the coins act and go into those final parabolic stages like they did back here in 2021, where you can see in a very short period of time, you see that spike to the upside, a bit of consolidation, and then that final move, and that's it, right? So I'm not telling you guys to go out and buy this coin. I don't own any of it. I don't track it. I just seen that it was one of the best performers of the day, looked at the chart, and surprise, surprise, this is exactly how it played out in 2021 while going into the exact same market conditions that I believe we're going into in September. So taking all this into consideration, what I think a lot of people should be doing, and this isn't financial advice, you can do whatever you want, this is personally what I'll be doing, is trying to find coins that haven't seen that move yet, but are strong coins across the market. Now, Solana has seen a little bit of a move, nothing crazy like 150% gain. It is just in this accumulation structure, sitting at the top of the range, might I add. And I do think that once we see Solana break out from this range here and cross above this trend line, it will get parabolic quite fast. Probably not as fast as Kronos has played out here in the last 48 hours, but I am starting to see this on Sol. But what I'm really looking for is coins that haven't moved at all that I do think will have a pretty good run. And if we have a look at something like Sui, for example, it is pretty stalled out just at the mid-range. And I think a lot of attention has gone away from Sui, but what most people have forgotten or new market participants aren't aware of is that from August of last year, Sui shot up about 1,000% over the course of a couple months and was one of the best performers that I held personally. So coins like Sui, for example, that aren't really doing anything here, especially on lower time frames, showing weakness and not really showing any signs of life, that when we do start to see the market pick up, the coins like this will most likely perform quite well. However, as far as risk to reward goes right now, these are some of the best coins you can be scaling into, as it's quite clear if price does get below these lows down here, you could be out of a position. But for your upside target, there's no reason you shouldn't be targeting at least the previous high. So the risk to reward on a coin like this is massive right now compared to something like Kronos, for example, which has already exploded from these levels. So this is what I'll be keeping an eye on in the coming days and weeks, especially leading into September. And I do think that once we start to see price move and the market expand, especially leading into September here, I think it's quite likely that we'll continue to see what we've been seeing so far, which is the Bitcoin dominance breaking down, money flowing into the altcoin market, and altcoins outperforming Bitcoin in the short term, which typically marks the end of a market cycle. So guys, I'll leave it there for today. I just wanted to show you what I'm seeing here play out on the charts. This is a pretty good indicator of what's to come, I think, and that you can see it's clear as day. We've seen this back in 2021. And if you go and have a look at what a lot of coins were doing back during this time of 2021, a lot of them were just stalled out before they ended up pumping. So pretty early indicator of what I think's to come, and it's great to see this actually play out, even on a coin that I don't hold, because it does give me hope that we are going to see something like this play out throughout the rest of the market. So guys, if you enjoyed this little update, feel free to leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, you can subscribe down below. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below in the comments section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.